Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. and today we got new video. This is top 20 scary videos of disturbing things you need to watch. Damn it, if we need to watch them, we're gonna watch them. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, subscribe button, comment, stick down below. Let's go.
Another collection of weird, creepy, and scary videos that we recommend you don't watch alone. But if you have nerves of steel and feel like delving into the world of the unknown, then you've come to the right place.
See what you got.
Number 20.
Silent.
We begin with the video that shows something that looks like an orb, but this orb is acting a little strangely.
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
Try to think what this could be. Spider, maybe? The spider's on in dark with like a bright light. Could look weird, so that's an option. That's all I can think of, really, because I don't really know what else this could be. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
This strange orb was recorded by a motion detection camera that's set up in someone's home. As the clip begins, we can see that it has a strange oval shape, and it floats from the center of the room towards the right of the screen. But then something strange happens. The camera is programmed to emit an audio message when it detects movement, and when it does, it responds by saying, "Hi, you're currently being recorded." The orb reacts as if it had a jump scare, and it hovers in place for a few seconds, but it then continues to float through the room, making its way across the screen and back again. But there's no telling whether this is really a sentient spirit orb or not. Either way, the reaction that it had when the recording played is truly inexplicable. Number 19. There's been a lot of
I literally couldn't even see what that said. I couldn't even see what that said.
Speculation about this following clip online, and it's easy to see why when we take a closer look at it. Unfortunately, we're unable to understand what this group of men is saying as they're speaking in Turkish, but it would seem that they're exploring the inside of a cave. According to the video's description, the group of men was walking towards an abandoned village when they saw a light burning inside the cave and they decided to investigate. This is when they started hearing strange sounds coming from one section of the cave, and they shone a flashlight into the fissure where they heard the sound, and they could not have been prepared for what they saw. As the light finds the source of the sound, we can see a big black eye staring back while this creature makes a strange growling sound. When it moves its head, we can see the other eye and its nostrils, and this is when the men decide to bolt out of the cave. Some commenters think this is an owl, but others have compared it to photos of all kinds of owls and they're unable to find a match. What do you think this is that was hiding in this cave?
I still could see owl. I don't know why, but an owl seems to be my most likely guess. I just don't know, do owls hang out in caves often? That's the only thing that kind of baffles me, is I don't remember seeing owls just hanging out in caves often.
Number 18.
Orange UFO.
Next, we take a look at strange footage that was captured in the skies over Florida in
The vendor's name is Alex Nuffin.
April of 2023 on a dark, rainy night. The clip features a cluster of strange orange lights that seem to be hovering soundlessly in the sky, but it's hard to make out whether they're moving or not since there's no trees or structures nearby for context. Some of the strange lights seem to be blinking on and off, though some people think that this may be caused by a tree that's obscuring the camera's view, and it isn't visible to us since it's so dark. The uploader is adamant that this was not a street light or anything similar, and he adds that the lights were rotating around each other, but it's impossible to confirm since the video is so blurry. He added that he recorded an hour's worth of footage of this object since it was hovering in the area for a long time, but he decided that this clip was what he wanted to upload. Number 17.
I don't believe him. I do not believe that he recorded an hour of this footage of that simple thing. I do not believe him.
This next eerie clip has garnered a lot of attention online after it was uploaded more than 9 years ago, and people can't decide whether it's real or not.
That is way too zoomed in. That is very zoomed in. Sort of like the zoom in of an animated frog. I don't know why that's what comes in my head, but I picture like the way animes position a frog, like a long mouth type frog. Yeah. I'm just saying stuff. I'm sorry. What's up? No, do it. I don't know what this is though. 2008. What? What am I looking at? What's happening?
The footage was recorded in 2008 on the Sea of Marmara in Turkey, and if this clip is indeed real, it may be some of the best UFO footage ever recorded. As the clip starts, we can see a disc-shaped object against a completely black background, which would be the case on an open sea at night. And we can see by the video's timestamp that it was recorded at 3:53 a.m. As the person who's filming zooms in, things get serious.
What was the situation going on here? Were these people on a boat? And just started filming this thing? And if so, how did it have such... There's so many questions I have for this video that was done in 2008.
Seriously interesting. The disc is made of a gray metal, and the top is bowed with a few round pieces dotting the sides. We can hear the sound of waves, but the disc doesn't seem to be making any noise as it hovers in the sky. But this could be due to distance, since we don't know how far away it is from the camera. Number 16. The man who recorded this next strange video says that he was on the beach at around 9 p.m. one night, when he looked up and saw this object traveling at great speeds in the sky. But the object in question is very far away, and hence it looks like nothing more than a tiny tick of light. But if we focus closely, we can see that it's moving from left to right at the bottom of the screen. But then something strange happens. The light suddenly changes direction, and it begins to move towards another light, which is most likely a star. It then moves past that light, but on several occasions, it seems to stop mid-flight before continuing on its way again. It almost seems to accelerate and slow down at times, but it isn't easy to see since the camera is constantly moving. There have been suggestions that this may have been a satellite moving across the sky, but since it's raining in the clip, a satellite would have been obscured by clouds, and it doesn't explain why it was able to change directions as well as speed. Number 15. The woman who recorded this next scary video says it was filmed in her previous house, where she had many strange experiences.
Oh my god. It's gonna start again.
Oh, it's closing. It's closing. It's closing.
This included
No. 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 If I see that, out. I'm out. I'm going. See you later. Not doing that. No. Not one bit am I doing that. Absolutely not. Mind you, we'll go. Doors closed on them? Yeah. No, not me.
disembodied footsteps that could be heard in the hall, a man's voice that seemingly came from everywhere, and banging sounds coming from the house's basement. Despite all of this, she never felt that she was in danger, but as is the case in this clip, she says it was still pretty scary. In the clip, the woman is sitting on her bed when the room's door suddenly opens on its own.
What made her start filming? So was it that she heard a bunch of stuff happening and just started filming? I'm gonna assume. Or was it just she just happened to open when the door just happened to open?
Oh, and she can be heard taking in a sharp breath. She's clearly terrified as she watches the door, and we can hear her asking if it was going to close again. Right after she asks this question, the door sways back and forth a few times before it shuts on its own again. She would later learn that someone had passed away in the house's basement, and she speculates that it may be this person's spirit that's present in the house. However, this door never opened on its own before this day, and it never happened again after.
So it's probably a normal explanation then, if it never happened before or again. It's probably can be explained.
14.
Security ghost.
Next up is footage that was sent to the uploader by a friend who works in this building as a security guard, and he believes the building to be haunted after experiencing this strange event. Something has clearly started to happen already as the man is out of his chair and filming his office, and just a few seconds later we see what has him worried. The swivel chair that's standing by his desk begins to move, swiveling back and forth without explanation. This could easily be explained away as being caused by an air conditioner, but what happens next is truly inexplicable. A few objects that have been placed on a metal box against the wall to the right suddenly fly off and fall to the ground. It seems that the man might be right in thinking that his workplace is haunted.
Yeah, no, see, that's not caused by air conditioning, because air conditioning, well, actually, depends, I guess. If the air conditioner was already on, those would have flown off already. If it wasn't, it just happened to get turned on by him as this video started to be filmed, that'd be what would be explained then.
Haunted, since this activity is far from normal. I can only wonder if he kept working in that office for much longer after seeing this happen right in front of it. Number 13. This next short clip is not the best quality, but the man who recorded it says that he caught something creepy while filming in his house, after he heard strange noises coming from upstairs.
Excuse me.
It's clear to see that the man was not intending to film anything in particular while he was heading upstairs, since the camera isn't steady at all, but it still managed to capture something.
Who's that? What is that? Is that a kid? Your brother? Little brother? Something like that? You had family over or something? Because it's clearly a person. So it's just who is it that just happened to get captured, like with their head down, kind of hunched over? At that exact point, who was it that did that?
As the man passes by one of the doorways in the house, the camera catches a glimpse of one of the rooms, and it's what's in this room that has him left baffled. For just a fraction of a second, we can see a strange black figure standing on the far side of the room. The room is dark, so it isn't possible to make out any facial features or clothing, but it's hunched over and very creepy looking. It seems to be looking down at its hands, if it has any, as if it's busy inspecting something that it's picked up. They added that nothing strange has ever happened in this house before, but he's unable to come up.
It's just family, man. It's just one of your family members, something like that. Probably your little brother or something like that if you have one. Just having to be walking by that shot like that while you were going up there.
With a reasonable explanation for what this could be. Number 12.
Door creature.
In our next eerie video, a man is home alone at his girlfriend's house, when he starts hearing strange clicking noises coming from the door leading to the room that he's in.
Light is still here, cracking. Oh, that was a big one. Again, it keeps zeroing in, like you can click on it as if there's somebody standing in front of the door. Don't like that. But it's been going on all night, so kind of had enough of it. Don't really care at this point, just want to document it.
Dude!
Whoa, I just saw something.
While filming, we can hear him say, "I do still hear cracking." And just a moment later, we hear a clicking noise coming from the door in front of him, as it moves slightly, and he says that was a big one. He then refers to the dog that's with it, saying that it zeroed in on the door as if there's someone standing there. And although he's a little scared, he's been hearing things all night and he wants to get it on camera. When he pans the camera back to the door again, we can see that it's opened a small fraction on its own, and behind it, something suddenly darts out of the way. The uploader would state that there's only one dog in the house, and it was on this side of the door when this was happening, leaving.
What is that? It looks like a fucking tennis track. It doesn't even look like a person. It doesn't even look like any animal. I don't even know what that is, but it did not look like an animal or anything.
Him completely baffled. Number 11. In this next scary clip, two friends are sitting in a car and they're casually recording when the camera captures something very weird. As is usually the case when someone is just casually recording a video, the footage is rather erratic and blurry at times. But luckily for us, we've also slowed it down and brightened the footage. When played at normal speed, the sighting happens so fast that it's almost impossible to see. But when it's slowed down, we can see why they were creeped out. As the man who's sitting in the car's passenger seat moves his head back a little, a ghostly face appears next to his window. But when he looks in that direction, it's no longer there. The man has speculated that this may have been the face of a demon that was peering in through the window, but they only noticed it later when watching the video. Some commenters suggest that this is merely a reflection on the window, but many
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything. I wouldn't even notice it like 5 times. Because I do barely see it now.
others are not so sure, and they think this may have been the face of a supernatural being. What are your thoughts? Number 10.
Shattered table.
Next, we take a look at security footage from someone's dining room that was filmed in May of 2013. In the footage, we can see that the table has a number of small vases on it, all containing flowers, but there's no one in the room. But then something weird happens. The glass tabletop suddenly shatters into pieces, causing glass to spill over the sides, and at first, there doesn't seem to be an explanation. But when the footage is slowed down, we can see a small, round object falling from the ceiling and crashing into the table, causing it to smash. But this isn't a sufficient explanation either, as the object bounces off the table as expected, but then flies up in the air and disappears next to the camera, which is...
I'm guessing there's a way to do this. People probably gonna say it's fake. I get it. I, as a horrible editor, does not know how you would fake this and how you would fake this, like, looking. Someone tell me. How do you fake this?
mounted pretty high up on the wall. There's no doubt that this object caused the table to shatter, but the way it behaves afterward is truly perplexing. The uploader also stated that no objects were found near the table, and there were no animals in the building at the time, which makes the footage even weirder. Number 9. In the building at the time, which makes the footage even weirder.
I swear I see an animal. What are you talking about? You can't say that. That's literally a dog. That is an animal right there. What do you mean there's no animal? That is an animal. You see its move.
Causing glass to spill over the sides, and at first, there doesn't seem to be an explanation.
It is an animal. That is an animal. There was an animal right there. No animal in the building, my ass. There was an animal right there. There was an animal there.
But when the foot...
You see the thing? Yeah. What the heck? What do you mean there's no animal there? There's clearly an animal. It's clearly there.
which makes the footage even weirder. Number 9. The man in this next clip already seems freaked out by something that happened to him, and we're about to find out what it is that has him on edge. The man seems to be gaming since he has a headset on, and as the clip begins, he's already looking over his shoulder, but he continues with what he's doing. Unbeknownst to him, however, as soon as he turns his back to the kitchen, the fridge's door opens by itself, and when he looks back, he's just quick enough to see it closing again. He quickly whips his headset off and walks over to the kitchen, but as he climbs over a small partition, the fridge opens again and he stops in his tracks. The fridge closes by itself again, but by this point, he's decided it would be better to leave the room, and I think that'd be a very good decision. Number 8. In this next clip, a group of people is filming a strange streak of light in the sky, but they have a solid explanation for what it is.
They just launched these yesterday.
You said it's Elon Musk Starlink.
That's Starlink. That's Starlink.
No, it's Titanic.
It's Starlink. You know what Starlink is?
Oh, what is that? What is it?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
What is Starlink, Eddie?
One of Elon Musk's companies.
Some members of the group are a little baffled by what they're seeing, but one of the men quickly explains that they're looking at the Starlink satellite constellation, which was placed in orbit the previous day. We can see the line of lights that are hanging in the sky, and it would seem that the man is correct, but they fail to notice something much stranger that's going on. To the right of the satellite constellation, a small light that could be mistaken for a satellite can be seen moving from the top of the screen to the bottom, but no one in the group seems to notice it, and the uploader only spotted it when he reviewed the footage from that night. The object travels past the line of lights as it reaches the bottom. It seems to completely disappear. Maybe they were investigating this new satellite constellation. Number 7. The following baffling clip was filmed in 2004, and it shows something that's left its viewers at a loss for an explanation.
Cago en la madre que lo parió. ¿Qué es eso?
That looks like there's an evil face from a video game. That's all that looks like. You know, if you zoom, you know, all those faces that would kind of pop in and make kind of look, supposed to look creepy. That's what that is. There was nothing about that that makes me. That is not a UFO. Not forced. That is absolutely 100% not a UFO. That looks like a little fog. Okay, when I said something like fog, that literally looks like a video, an animated fog. My man.
Fíjate.
I am not convinced by this. It also... No, fix yourself. It looks like a burger monster. It looks like everything but a UFO to me.
Joder, aquí no hay trucaje, esto es la hostia, ¿eh? Mira, desaparece y vuelve. Mira otro.
Oh, you've reached level 2 of the video game. The second villain has arrived.
The clip seems to have been filmed in a rural area, since we can hear cattle bells in the background, and at first, it's hard to make out what we're looking at. But it soon becomes clear that we're looking at an object that's hovering in the sky, and is very strange indeed. The object seems to be very far away, as the camera is struggling to focus on it, but we can see that it's circular and has a strange yellow glow. It has 2 dark spots at the top and 2 in the center, but these dark spots seem to be moving, as if they're rotating around the circle. One suggestion was that this is the sun setting in the distance, which would explain why it seems to be shimmering, but that theory doesn't hold up as the video continues and it seems to phase out for a second. When the man zooms out again, it gets even weirder, as a second identical object has appeared, and it too seems to be disappearing at times. Number 6. Next up is a strange clip that was recorded in New Mexico on the 16th of June, 2023, after something strange appeared in the sky.
Okay, there's a light.
As the clip starts, we can see a speck of something in the sky, as it's still too far away to make out any details. But when the camera zooms in, we can see that it's a strange tic-tac shaped craft that's flying overhead and seems to be traveling at speed. From what we can see, it's completely white, and it has either a set of antennae or propellers on the back. And although some people have suggested that this is a plane, it seems very unlikely, as the shape seems to be very different. We hear a buzzing sound, suggesting that this may be a drone, but the uploader says that this noise was being made by landscaping equipment nearby. The craft continues on a definitive path, and eventually it slips behind the cloud.
I bet you this was a drone, and he realized it, but he just kept the lie going by saying it was landscape equipment. This is probably a drone.
Cover, where it disappears from sight. Do you think this was a man-made craft or something otherworldly?
Drone.
Number 5. The next eerie video was filmed by security cameras inside a hospital, and it seems—
Okay, this is not a security camera. This is not a security camera. That is not what this is from. Because a security camera is not this low to the ground. This is very low to the ground. This looks like it was done by some sort of, you know, someone leaves a camera somewhere as they go explore the building. You know, one of those urban explorers. This is not a security camera. I can guarantee you that.
Seems that there are more patients in the building than was first thought. The camera is pointed down one of the hospital's corridors, and the first weird thing that happens is we can see reflections on the floor, as if someone is walking past the door in the distance, but there's clearly no one there. But it gets even creepier when a strange, translucent figure moves from the right-hand side of the hall to the left. When the footage is zoomed in, it looks certain that the apparition has human movements, and it seems to be walking at a leisurely pace. As it reaches the center of the hall, it completely disappears, leaving the hallway as empty as it was before. Number 4. Here's more CCTV footage, this time
This is an actual CCTV. This is what a CCTV looks like, not what the last one was.
From someone's backyard during nighttime. This clip, which was filmed in 2013, gets creepy really fast as something appears at the top of the screen, and it slowly moves towards the camera. As it gets closer, we can see that it has a definite human shape, but it's completely white, though its legs are clearly moving as a human's would. It gets closer to the house's porch, and when it reaches it, it simply vanishes into thin air, as if it was never really there to begin with. This type of sighting is often attributed to poor camera quality, or a reflection that makes it look ghostly. But this figure is completely white from head to toe, and it's difficult to argue that this isn't a ghost. Do you think this is someone's spirit that was passing by the camera, or is there a more reasonable explanation?
I mean, it could be still a camera issue, but it'd be a very weird one to have, I'll be honest.
Number 3. It takes a special type of person to work in a hospital, but it must be even more unnerving to work in the post-mortem section, which is the case in this next scary clip. As the footage begins, we can see 2 people working at a steel table in a room that lies between a set of double doors, while another walks by in the background. But what we're focusing on happens in the foreground. While they carry on with their work, a strange shadow can be seen moving just inside the doors, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that this is merely a reflection of the people who are working inside. But when we take a closer look, we can see that the movements don't match up. The apparition seems to move from the left of the doors, and it seems to linger in the door for a second or two, before moving out of the room and disappearing to the left of the screen. Could it?
It literally does the Vince walk. This spirit does that. It is emulate. It has the hands walking. It's going with a flow.
Could this be the spirit of a former patient that still roams in this hospital's halls? Number 2. The man in this next scary video is just relaxing at home while watching some TV, and he flicks through the channels to find something good to watch. On the far side of the room, we can see a cream-colored door, and this is where we're focusing our attention. The man continues to relax, but he doesn't seem to notice that there's an ominous shadow forming on the door, despite the fact that it's in front of him. As the shadow begins to take shape, we can see that it's a distinctly human form, and when it's fully formed, it begins to walk towards the camera. But before it reaches it, the shadowy figure turns to the left of the screen, and here we can get a good look at the shape of its head before it disappears from sight. The man is still oblivious to what's happening around him, however, and that's probably for the best. Number 1. Our last video comes from a security camera that was filming a store in Guildford, Northern Ireland, and it would seem that a poltergeist may be at work here. In the foreground, we can see the store's counter, but there isn't anyone behind it at the moment, but it is during the day, so the store is definitely open. On the counter, there are 3 glass bowls along with a few other items that are on display, and just a few seconds into the footage, something happens to the bowl on the right. It begins to move across the counter by itself, seemingly spinning as it reaches the counter's edge, before it falls off and smashes on the ground behind the counter. A woman who's...
Nope. I'm good. I ain't working at the store. Now, I will tell him, hand him my thing. I'm going to hand him my 2 weeks. I said I'm leaving soon. I'm going to come. Then you can just say I didn't work. Just don't hire me. Don't give me any more money. Don't send me anything. I just sold this thing fly off of the table. I'm good. I'll see you later.
Working in the back appears, and it seems that she didn't hear the crash. But when she walks behind the counter, she sees the broken pieces of glass, and she's clearly baffled as she stands in disbelief, trying to figure out what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all for the next one.